Hey fam, it's TJ back with another Cocktails with TJ. This cocktail that we're going to be making today is called a vodka martini, or Voidkatini for short. You know, merge the two together. Anyway, so this is a very simple drink to make. All you need is vodka and dry vermouth. Now, my favorite vodka right now is Sobieski. It's really smooth, nice vibe. Of course, it's not like super strong, but it's strong enough. And I definitely recommend it. The vermouth that I'm using is called Gallo. It's it's very dry. It's dry, but believe it or not, this is actually a wine. Um, and it's actually really good when you drink it cold. Don't room temperature just. But anyway, you can definitely have this alone. Um, but yeah, I would recommend having it cold. Um, so let's get started. So what you want to do is, of course, fill this up with, not really fill it up completely with ice, but just put. I have one of these really cool ice trays. I got it at Target. Got the little perfectly symmetrically shaped ice cube. So you could do like maybe 3 or 4. I'm going to use 4. 4 is my favorite number, so I'm going to use 4. Um, and what you want to do is take a half a shot of vermouth. I find it is best to do this over the shaker in the event that, somebody can be a little heavy-handed, or it pours out a little bit quicker than you would anticipate, even though you're the one controlling the bottle. But of course you do that. And you're going to stir the vermouth in the ice. You want to make sure that it's all I would say evenly coated, or rather make sure that the ice is coated enough. And then strain that, all the excess of that, strain that into the glass, leaving the ice coated with the vermouth. Okay. Then you will proceed. We're adding 2.5 shots of vodka. 2.5 shots, not 2.5. Just 2.5 shots. That has to be one of the funniest things I've ever seen on the internet. Hilarious. So yeah, it's like 2.5 shots of vodka. Put them on the shelf. Make room for yourself, you know what I mean? Okay. So, you're going to stir the vodka in the vermouth coated ice cubes. And put all that in there. So you put that back in there. And I like using the Mazzetta jalapeno stuffed olives. So you put those yummy things in there. I usually go for 3. I'm sure a lot of people will go for 3. Some people go for 2. Whatever your preference is, that's fine. Okay. So let's get this out of the way here. Did you miss me? Anyway, so my topic for this episode is going to be, it may be some random stuff, but I kind of want to start off with horror films. I'm like a huge fan of horror films. I would say about on a level of maybe a 90%, 95%, because there's just some I just cannot deal with. If you want to know, leave a question or a comment, and I'd be happy to share it with you. But well, one of them I will say this: it was the original broadcast of Stephen King's It with Tim Curry as Pennywise. I was in junior high school when that came out, and it was, at that time, was like a 2-part miniseries. Now, by this point, you know, I've seen just about every movie that was adapted, you know, to his novels. Christine, Pet Sematary, Salem's Lot, even Stand By Me, Carrie, and I just figured, I saw The Stand, and I just figured that, you know, it shouldn't be any different, you know. I mean, yes, it's scary and all that, but I mean, it was still entertaining. And oh yeah, and I did see Cujo several times. But the thing that got me with this one in particular, first off, I love Stephen King, love Tim Curry, and I used to love clowns. Like, I would go to the circus like almost every year with my family, and this right here, hell no. Like the first part of the story, I couldn't even go to sleep that night. Like, it was that bad. Like, I every time I fell into that level of deep sleep, Pennywise showed up in my dream, and I did not go to sleep, like really get to sleep until about 3 in the morning. I had to get up at like 7 to get to school, and miraculously made it through the day. And by the time my mom picked us up from school, I was knocked out in the backseat of the car. So we get home, and she tells me I can't see the second part of this movie. Trust me, I was not going to debate that situation. I was not going to debate that decision. I did not see it in full until I was like well into my 20s. I don't freaking care. It was broad daylight, and I made sure that I watched it early enough so that I could just wipe that out to the point where it's like, I'm going to have a good night's sleep tonight regardless. But it was for the time that it came out, oh my god. And I mean, it's just, I mean, I've seen American Werewolf in London. I know it's not the Stephen King, you know, book or whatever like that, but it's an American Werewolf in London. That's like horror classic, you know what I mean? So as time went on and you watch different horror films, I look at them, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but I would look at them as if there's a lesson to be learned here. And the examples are, I would say, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you always have that group of friends, they want to take a road trip or whatever, and it's fine. You take that road trip, you know, you want to create memories and stuff like that, and that's great, you know. And there were so many signs in this to where you just refuse to acknowledge it. I'm gonna go with the one. I mean, I saw the original what struck me was the one that had Jessica Biel in it. And there was a young lady on the side of the road, and she's walking on the side of the road, and they're like trying to figure out what's wrong with her, if she's okay and everything like that. So they pick her up. I don't recall her asking to be picked up, as far as like, waving a hand saying help me or doing hitchhike thumb or whatever. I did not notice that. If I'm wrong, I'll take the L, but I don't recall seeing that. So they pick her up and they proceed to go, on their trip. When she realizes where they're going, she's telling them to turn around. She's telling them to turn around. They don't want to listen to her. And it's going to be okay. And she's frantic. Obviously, there is a reason why she does not want you guys to go any further down this path. Since you don't want to listen, fine. What does she do? Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it already at this point. She blows her brains out in their van. And you're still going. So they're trying to find a phone where they're trying to find someplace they can use a phone. They come across this house basically in the middle of a country town or whatever. This nice sizable house. There are no phone lines. There's not another house in sight. There's no music playing. I don't hear any children. There's not a grill on. Do I need to go on? But the door's open. If the door is open, you knock on it and nobody's answering, that doesn't mean you can go into that house. I don't care what the hell's going on, but if there's not a blue sign that says rest area with hotel logos and food logos on it, we're not stopping anywhere. This is ridiculous. The same thing could be said about Wrong Turn. Wrong Turn for me was where one of the protagonists, he was on his way to a job interview and he got stuck in traffic. Stay stuck in traffic. They'll understand. If you have a phone in your car, you got your phone with you now, just get on that phone and you let that person know, hey, can we reschedule this? I am in traffic. It's outside of your power, honey. You don't need to take any shortcuts or different routes. Just stay there. You're not going to be in there forever. It's not going to. If you've been on the road long enough, you know there's going to be a traffic jam here and you do not need to be there. It's just crazy. And then this is another thing about that to me, is that just because these individuals, this inbred family, had the appearance that they did have, I don't care how a person looks, you never underestimate what's happening up here. Never underestimate that. Because that movie right there showed me these were some skilled individuals. They pinpoint exactly where to hit you with their crossbows or with their buzzsaws and the whole nine. They know those backwoods like nobody's business. You couldn't hide from them. And it also showed me that I don't ever want to visit West Virginia. And I'm sure it's a beautiful place. As far as aerial shots, it's a lovely place. But yeah, I'm just not going to. I'm just not. The title says it for itself. It's Wrong Turn. You're just not going to do it. Shortcuts. It's not that serious. Talk to the crew in House of Wax. House of Wax had the formula where it was like all but one. And that one guy wants to take a shortcut. So they're on their way to a game. I believe it was a football game for the college they was going to, an away game. I know they had the schedule ahead of time. You knew when it was going to happen. Why not get there the day before? Because you're listening to that was another thing. You're listening to the game while you're on your way there. So why not get there the day before? And if we're gonna take a shortcut, if you're gonna take a shortcut, how about that? If you're gonna take a shortcut, what I plan to do is take a screenshot of you and I, because that screenshot is gonna get timestamped. Then we're gonna FaceTime your parents. And I'm going to let them know, hey, he wants to take a shortcut. We're going to stay the course. If he doesn't return home, you know why. Just putting it out there. And that might seem heartless. I'm sorry, that might seem heartless. I'm not taking any shortcuts. I don't know this area. I don't think that they're going to be upset because you were late to the game. Especially when you're listening to it while you're on your way to the game. The moral of the story, these two, stay the course. Do not take any back roads. Do not do anything crazy, because you don't know what's out there. I mean, just have that final destination mentality. Just make sure you're not behind any freights that have those logs. Go in the next lane. Watch out for those power lines. Just look for every little thing that they may seem out of the ordinary. Just don't do it. You know. With Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if that girl didn't ask to be picked up, leave her alone. Mind your business. Seriously. And I'm all about checking out different spots here and there. You know, something obscure. But not to the point where it's House of a Thousand Corpses kind of level. Now, I love Rob Zombie. I think he is awesome as all get out as a rock star, as a writer, and as a film director, and the whole nine. That right there taught me. We're not going to go into no little situations like that where you want to find obscure stuff. That's all well and good. But there was like a huge literal sign with the Captain Spaulding. Rest in peace, said, hey, let's get that straight. Made me look at chicken a whole lot of different ways. In a different way. You know, it's like, I don't think I'd want to buy any chicken from someone like that. Especially when it looked like he was chewing on mud-covered coal. Like, I don't even think a scrub brush would clean those teeth. It was just, that was just a lot. It was a lot. And the thing for me with horror films, I felt like the person that took the love of horror films away from me is the same person that brought it back, and that was Wes Craven. I don't think he had any. I have to go back and look, but when basically, cause like he brought us Freddy Krueger, so it was like when they did the whole like Freddy's Dead thing, and I'm just, as a side note, with Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead, I don't know why I was waiting for that song to come on. You know, Freddy's Dead, that's what I said. That I'm not gonna sing it for you, not yet, not right now. Give me a few more videos, maybe I'll do a little bit. I don't know. But like, and then he brought it back with Scream. Interestingly enough, I did not know that was like supposed to be like satire, because that's some hella good shit. I love the Scream films. I've seen every single one of them. I feel that this new group of people that's involved in the films, perfectly picked out, perfectly cast. It was like you're not really skipping a beat with the tone that these movies take. And I like how it's almost like a chain reaction where it's like, who could it possibly be now? Because at first, you know, it was like all about Sydney, and then it started to slowly transition, especially with Scream 4, it started to slowly transition, kind of like passing the baton to another generation, because at this point, Ghostface could be just about anybody, and there could be any form of a reason of why. So it's to me, what the one of the beautiful things about it, about the Scream franchise, is that when at least for me, when a new movie was announced, the question was, who's the target and why? You know, it was just, it was very interesting. And with this last Scream, there was a few nods. Definitely the one with Gail. It's almost as if like, because I don't think she, yes she did. It's almost as if like, it's not Gail getting slapped or punched is almost before somebody want to have a fit. It's almost equivalent to Stan Lee appearing in a Marvel film. Like it wouldn't be right. It's not complete until that happens, you know. And I do feel with that particular with the Scream movies, I do feel that I understand and I support why Nev wasn't in the last installment, and I like how they honored Sydney and she was still in the story, and I just feel like it leaves the door open. And as long as I feel like if there's like some sort of a mutual agreement for the next one, because the gentleman who took the helm of these movies, want her to be there, and it's almost if like, it's basically to say that there has to be, for me, in my opinion, there has to be like a mutual agreement to satisfy not just her but also the story and the fans. And I have to say honestly, for me, the best scene as a film fan, the best scene was the subway scene, because it was Halloween weekend, I think it was like Halloween, and they had all these different costumes paying homage to different characters, you know, in the horror movie genre. And it was almost as if like, how many can you pick? So I thought that was really cool. I liked in the Scream movie before this one that they honored Wes Craven, you know, within the movie, and not just because of the young man whose name was Wes, but there was a party honoring Wes, and that's all I'm gonna say on that one. A lot of people, from what I understood, there were people that wasn't really too satisfied with Halloween Kills. I thought Halloween Kills was great. It was, it was like closing the chapter, but is it really closed? Because it might be closed for Jamie, but it could be open for somebody else. You know what I mean? You know, Lori might not come back, but there could be that connection, and you could still talk about Lori. I thought it was great that you had these two stars in this movie closing that chapter. Just like with like I said, this is random, so obviously I'm just bouncing all over the place, but I have to touch on the Saw films. I cannot say, oh god, probably maybe either Wishmaster or Hellraiser, where I have seen something that creative. The traps that were made in these movies were freaking epic, because all I'm thinking about is what on earth was going through your mind, and it just was like, what if this happened? And then it makes me wonder, like, dang, if I could get away with it, I would do this to this person. It's like, hey, why don't we do it like that? But it's just so intricate, and there's so much time put into putting these traps together. Because it's like when you're watching the first Saw movie, who's to say Jigsaw wasn't setting up the traps for Saw 2 while this is going on? Or even in the time it took from when the first Saw was made to the second Saw, Jigsaw is putting in that time to get all that stuff together. I honestly, how can I put this? Okay, so to me, and I'm not at the risk of sounding like I'm defending something, to me, Jigsaw had purpose. He himself, in his mindset, felt that he had, to me, in his mindset, his kills were set up for a reason. Because there was just about everybody, I would say, like in the first couple films, first 2-3 films, somehow, actually with that, throughout it all, it was like everybody, I don't care how small, it's like, it doesn't matter how small, how big it was, you played a part in his demise somehow. When his wife lost the baby, there were people, not just that addict that pushed the door on her, causing her to lose the baby, but the people that led up to him being in that position, in that situation, at that moment. The when he was diagnosed with cancer, and he was denied coverage, and those people played a part in that. It's like so many different people. And then with the thing that after he had died, and the cop took over, and the cop, to me, it was almost as if like he got off on it. Like he didn't really have. I think the thing about with him, he thrived on getting away with it, and I feel like his mistake was that he underestimated Jigsaw, because even in death, he still got the last laugh, so to speak. But to me, it's like, that's like art to me. There's something about the Saw films where it's like, you put this together and you have a team of people. It's like, I want you to think about what would be the most gruesome way to kill somebody. It seemed, as far as like the theme of it, it seemed a little off topic, but I have to say that I think it was Saw 3. Three or four, the one where it was the first kill of the now I'm trying to figure out Scream Queens, because I know it was like, it was the one after Tanidra. So the first scene in there, it was the girl that was above. She was at the top, and then like you had like two of her, I guess, boyfriends, and she's suspended at the top, and between the guys, there's these buzz saws. So it's three of them. So it's kind of like a seesaw type deal. And she's up there trying to instigate the shit. And I think it was like every 30 seconds, either every 30 seconds to a minute, she would get down lower to the middle one. So, as it turns out, whoever she could manipulate to off the other one, I guess she's going to be with that person. But the question is, could you still trust her after that? You know? So ultimately, they decided, we're just going to think for ourselves. And well, let's just say, you know, be careful what you're doing behind closed doors. Shit like that happened to you. So bad. I'm going to put the recipe in the description. Don't worry. Like I did with the first drink, I will continue to do that. So, yeah. Oh God, there's so many. Let me see. So I think what's really cool is you have all these different people like George Romero. George Romero is definitely a horror icon. No question about that. No question about that. And some may agree, some may disagree, and that's fine. If it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have The Walking Dead. There's inspiration there. And, you know, you had From Dusk Till Dawn. That was just awesome to me. The movie and the series were great. And of course it would be because Robert was at the helm of both of them, Robert Rodriguez. But I thought, to me, I felt like that was a horror classic. It was horror with like, you know, like some film noir type vibe to it, you know. There were like a little bit of a subplot here and there. I would like to think that with the television series, at least this is how I feel about it, I got the ending that I wanted in the movie in the television series. So if you've seen the movie and you've seen the television series, I would hope that you know what I'm talking about. I like how they delved into things a little bit more in the series. You had more time to stretch out a story, and you know, and it added like characters and their backstories. So it was something interesting. They put a different twist on Richie, I believe it is. That was so yeah, it was like a little bit more in depth with the Gecko brothers and the whole like story with the family and the daughter. You know, it was that's definitely something to check out. I believe it's still on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. The oh God, what is the name of those movies? And I've seen them all. There's just so many out there. I may have to do a second video because I don't want to pull up my phone or anything like that and be like, what was the name of it? What was the name of it? Because I want to. This was just, like I said, these are like random thoughts here, and I was just having a conversation with some friends about it not too long ago, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna post this. I think I'm gonna record this. This might be my next little situation, but yeah, it's they're entertaining. They are not to be taken seriously, unless, of course, it's one of those situations where it says it's based on a true story. Is based on a true story, which means that they took from the story. This is not to say the stuff actually happened, but they took from the story and added more to it. So there are some factual moments, but they added to it. You know. What's another good? Oh, Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever. Now, here's my thing on Cabin Fever. I enjoyed both versions. And my only thing is, while it is nice to go to a cabin in the woods, which is another movie, The Cabin in the Woods, but I need to know if there's any cell coverage. If I can't use my phone, if I can't use my laptop, I'm not going. I need to be able to interact with people. I need to play my games. I need to occupy my time. I'm not going. Before we leave, say there is cell coverage. So just, I can use my phone. Before we leave, we're either hitting a Target or a supermarket, an Aldi. We're gonna pack up the car. We're gonna get, the water and all that good stuff. Get some snacks. Because we are not going to no middle of the road store and I don't know what's in this stuff. Nobody knows. We're not doing that. I don't care how cool and nice the guy is. We're not taking anything from him. And at the first sign of something that's like totally and utterly uncomfortable, we gotta go. If you don't like that, fine. I'll be like what Tommy Davidson did in his stand-up back in the 90s. Like, LaShawn is leaving. So let Tamika worry about Tamika. Somebody gonna try and get me. They're gonna have to be, speeding about as fast as I am, because I'd be damned if I'm gonna sit there and wait it out. That's just no. It's just, no. And Eli Roth is definitely a great horror film director. Hostel is another one. Hostel. I think that with Hostel, they shed a bad light on Slovakia. I don't really think it's like that. Even the representatives there was like, it kind of, I want to say in a way, it did cause some percentage drops of tourism because of these movies. It's not gonna, it shouldn't deter you, but you have to mind your P's and Q's, you know what I'm saying? You have to be aware of where you are and who's around you. I don't care how nice that person is and they're showing you pictures or telling you about a place that's so great. And it's like, that's where I'm going. You guys should come with me. Why? I don't know you. Like, you're nice and we're all on the train or wherever together and we're all backpacking through Europe and stuff like that, and that's all well and good, but I don't know you. We got here for a particular reason and we're enjoying ourselves just fine. Because if you saw the Hostel films, you know why. I don't know these people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I consider myself someone who would like to try out different things and go to different places. And, of course, I consider myself a people person where I do like to meet different people. I'm a huge cultural fan. So I love to learn the ways of different cultures, like how they celebrate birthdays and things like that. What do they do, like, on the weekends? Do they celebrate Christmas? Stuff like, just as an example, like, what's their day-to-day like, is what I'm saying. But I'd be doggone if I'm going to go somewhere and they're telling me, oh, this is going to be great, and this, that, and the other. Okay, that's all well and good. I'm not going because that wasn't part of the itinerary. So it is what it is. But you learn. I really do believe that you learn from these films. They are public service announcements. They may be 2+ hours long, but they're teaching you a lesson here. And I don't know. It's so well and good, and I don't have nothing against people who are thrill seekers or anything like that. But I'd be damned if I'm gonna be a part of something like that, and there's no real, especially if everybody knows everybody, and if that cop does not have his uniform on right, and he looking like he just got out of bed and said, "Forget this, I'm just gonna go to work." No, I need to be able to feel like I'm safe with you, and that's not the case. I'm not having it. I'm open to topics to where it's like, like relatable to the industry, I suppose. There are some things I just won't touch on, and that's just my own personal preference. That, and plus I have too much respect for my mental health, because I know how I am with certain subject matters. I would just no. My birthday's coming up in a couple weeks. I share a birthday with Sir Patrick Stewart, Harrison Ford, and the singer Gerald Levert. So if you are familiar with any one of these gentlemen or all three, then you know when my birthday is. So I like to think that I'm in good company, and I'm looking forward to my day. I call it my special day. I feel like anybody's birthday is a special day. That's the day specifically made for you. That was the day that you were brought into this world to make it better than what it was before you got here. And you may or may not know that you have touched a lot of people's lives. Some of them you may have lost touch with, some of you are still in contact with, but they do remember what good you did for them. You could have just made them smile, you could have made them laugh, cheered them up, got them out of a bad mood, made them feel like they were special, made them feel like they were important. You were genuine. So genuine that you would make sure that they are not in a horrific situation that you would see in a horror movie. That's a real friend right there. But yeah, I think I talked you guys' ears off enough. I have to honestly say, I think this is like the longest video I've done so far. So I'd like to think that's progress. And yeah, so I'm gonna figure out what my next drink's gonna be. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave the comment below. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this page. I thank you all for your patience. I know it's been a while since I've put something up. I am gonna work towards doing a little bit more, even if it's like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes here and there. So this is fun. I'm really enjoying it. This is something that I want to, keep doing. And I thank you guys so much for taking the time out to check it out. And again, the recipe for this drink is going to be in the description. So go for it. I do hope you enjoy it. You can choose whatever your favorite vodka is, and take it to another level. You know what I mean? It's good. So trying to figure out, I kind of have an idea what I want to do next, but we'll see. And I did go on social media, and this was the one that got like the most votes. So again, this is a Voidkatini, or a vodka martini, however you want to look at it, tomato, and it's really, really good. It's a nice smooth drink, yeah, so, and I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed talking about this. And eventually I'm going to have like a guest here and there, and it's just going to be amazing. So all of my links are below here, so check them out. And I look forward to you guys checking out my next video, be it my next piece of project, rather, be it a video or a blog entry. So, and I hope you guys checked out Black Mirror. It's on Netflix. It was really, really good. The episodes that they had were awesome. And it's a little bit deeper. I would say it was a little bit deeper than the last series, but series 6 is hardcore, and definitely check them out. And you all be safe, and much love to you all. Thanks. I'll see you next time.